How's it going, everybody? This is BeatTheBush. Today's video is somewhat urgent for those of you that participate in prediction markets. They became legalized a while ago. I look at it and I feel like it's just a tax on people who do not understand statistics. It's mainly centered around sports betting, but it can cover other topics like who wins the election. There's a fine line between investing and gambling, and many times these prediction markets, the odds change and the amount that you can bet into it change. And this makes understanding it very, very difficult. This is somewhat related to stock picking, where you're buying a stock based on someone's comment, a friend or neighbor that says, hey, that's a great stock. You're going to make a lot of money buying it. Go buy it. And you don't do your own research, which means you don't have an edge. You're basically buying at random, right? Someone that gives you a recommendation. It could be good, it could be bad. Maybe they are trustworthy, so you could possibly make money based on that. Here's a thought experiment that you can do to kind of figure out if you are gambling or not. It has more to do with statistics, so bear with me here. The ultimate question here is, do you have better than 50-50 chance of predicting whatever event that is and getting it right? If you have better than 50-50 chance and you keep on betting the same amount of money over time, like over 1,000 trials or something, right? This is statistics here. Let's say you bet $1 and you have 51% chance of winning and you bet 1,000 times. You're gonna win $1 510 of those times and lose $1 490 of those times. So the delta here is $20. Over the course of 1,000 trials, the times that you win is gonna be about 51%. Of course, when you win, sometimes you might get a winning streak, like 10 in a row, 20 in a row even, and then suddenly you lose, and then win. It's just kind of random. But out of those randomness, you have to add them all together, and then you have a histogram kind of thing, and then you look at the averages here. So that small advantage is exactly what it takes to win at gambling when you're counting cards. You can think of your knowledge in prediction markets being something that gives you this extra edge, this extra chance. Just because you have this knowledge does not mean you're going to win every single time, right? Sometimes you lose, sometimes you win. But if you can have some kind of predictive knowledge where you're a little bit more sure that it's going to go one way versus another, then sure, you can make money on that. Sometimes they change the odds a little bit. If one side looks like it's going to win, definitely, then you're not going to get as high a payout. So they skew it a little bit sometimes. And this makes understanding this statistic a little bit harder. So you have to kind of normalize everything and go, okay, if it's just a 50-50 chance. Here's another way to think about things. Out of all your friends, do you know anyone that made significant amounts of money gambling? Probably no. If someone said they won at a prediction market, they probably just won once, twice, a couple of times. And then the follow-up question here is you have to ask, if they add up all their wins and losses, are they still positive or negative? If they've been doing this for many, many years, most cases, they are probably going to break even or at a loss a little bit. The way they structure these prediction markets is similar to a casino. The house is always going to win. They're not like putting all their eggs in one basket against one person. They're working at this statistically where, they have a large pool of people betting. They're accepting bets. They're paying out somewhat less than, 50-50 chance, and they're collecting that small amount in between. Look at the Forbes billionaire list. Are there any gamblers in there? No, there isn't. Sometimes you might have, millionaire gamblers. They might be really good at it. Sometimes they might be counting cards. Sometimes they're doing this out of skill, like maybe they're playing poker. Or maybe if they won the lottery, it's because they bought every single combination. That's why they won. And sometimes you might mislead yourself into thinking that you can predict a game outcome. There is no way to consistently be able to predict the future. Think about it like this. They had a goldfish once where it randomly picks some team that won, and then it was able to consistently do it 10, 15 times. But you have to look at this in terms of survivalship bias, where something that is successful survives. That's why you can read a news article about it and then suddenly you think, oh my gosh, they can predict something. But what's not in the news is, all these other monkeys, dogs, cats, squirrels, that try to do the same thing and they're not able to. So all those things that failed, you never see them. And don't get me started on people that like to brag. If you won money on those prediction markets, you are likely going to tell your friends. If you lose money, you're not going to come out and say, oh man, I lost money. I feel really, really bad. Maybe some people might admit it a little bit, but if you look at it on average, people don't like to feel bad. So they're going to suppress those bad things and just kind of talk up the successes that they have. So that's why I've never bet on these prediction markets. I just don't have enough information. And if you have some kind of insider information and you make a large bet, that's called insider trading. That's not allowed. You are only allowed to guess if you don't have inside information. In other words, some kind of edge that will allow you to actually make money. Because of the laws, you are required to play it in a way that is basically guessing, gambling. For lottery tickets, let's say, sometimes when it reaches $1 billion, I might put $1 in. You have to think of it like that. You are basically gambling. You put $1 in for the lottery ticket and you're basically buying your own emotions of trying to kind of imagine the future. You kind of have this nice euphoric feeling. Oh yeah, I'm going to win $1 billion. After I win this, I'm going to buy so-and-so mansion and stuff, right? And you feel good. It's worth $1 to, have that kind of feeling. And if you're going to participate in these prediction markets, you got to put the same mindset on it. You put like a small amount, something that you can throw away and you won't care. And I estimate, less than $5, less than $10 or something, right? Something that's insignificant. It's really easy to see if someone had insider information, because if their net worth is, let's say, $1 million and they put 1/10 of their net worth in a prediction market, most likely they had some kind of insider information, or they're just plain crazy, because whatever money you put in a prediction market, you could very well lose it all. It's so hard to convince someone who has made money in a prediction market that in the long run, they're not going to make money. That's my 2 cents on prediction market. If you are financially savvy, invest in a stock market index fund. And it looks like these days, tech stocks are doing really, really well for the past decade or so. And it looks like it's going to continue doing so because of AI and, taking all our jobs, mass automation with AI, a topic for a different video here. Thanks for watching this video. Don't forget to give me a like and subscribe for more.